Hi guys, I thought I'd just make a little video doing some seed starting in my kind of creepy basement, but it's nice and cool. It's the end of January, so it's a good time to start stratifying seeds that need some cold time before they get sown. It's way too early for vegetables, but I do want to plant a few perennials early, see if I can get them going. Maybe they'll be big enough that the deer can't take them out. So as you can see, I have a big selection of seeds. Now that I look at it, it's probably more than I should have ended up ordering, but that's all right. And I have a bunch of supplies. I'm not totally sure how much I'll need of everything, but we'll figure it out as we go along. This first group is kind of a standard germination, what you're used to. They like to be in a hot, moist soil, and that's all it takes to get them going. They don't need any kind of stratification or scarification. And I can put a list in the description of the video because it might make it easier than trying to get a look at all the different packets, but you can always pause and take a look if you want. This group doesn't really need any heat to germinate, but they also don't need to be stratified. They don't like to germinate when it's hot because in nature that might mean it's the middle of summer and delicate seedlings might die if they can't get enough water in hot weather. So they're kind of programmed to grow in like the cool spring, ideally. Sometimes seeds like this can grow in the fall and over winter, but usually spring is what they're aiming for. And then this last group, these are all seeds that need stratification. So they'll probably end up in Ziploc baggies that end up in the fridge, which I'm sure my husband will love, having bags of dirt in the fridge. And pretty much all of them will need to be in there for about 2 months. So I'll probably bring them out at the beginning of April and start sowing them like I'm going to sow all the other seeds today. See, I think I'll do like a little time lapse of them all getting potted up, labeled, all that jazz, because it'll take me a while and it's probably not the most exciting, newsworthy entertainment. But I'll get back to you when I have them all potted up and put in position, and you can kind of see the setup I have for actually germinating them. So it's a couple weeks later. I intended to come back to the next segment of this video a little sooner than this, but I ended up massively spraining my ankle and I've been on crutches for like a week. But now we can see what 2 weeks of progress looks like for a bunch of seedlings. So you can kind of see my setup under some windows and tucked behind the treadmill. I bought these lights on Amazon for about $60 for all 4 of them. It's a pretty good deal. And they've been doing a pretty good job, honestly. I've had grow lights in the past that did far worse at starting seedlings than these have. So I might get another 4 for the top shelves of the rack as I start potting up and spreading out these plants. And you can see, some don't have any progress. They take a little longer, but things like these Salvia have started coming up pretty consistently. And I've been moving things out of this tray over into the other tray as they kind of germinate more. So these are doing a little better. Some Echinacea, sunflowers, these big ones in the middle are Salvia. Clary sage, I think, is the common name. And they came up much better than I thought they would. So I'm going to have to start kind of pulling them apart and seeing if I can pot up some of the others. Maybe I could end up with, 50 plants, which would be a pretty good deal for, $3 seed packet? And what do I have here? Oh, these are the Echinacea. Coming up pretty good. I may just thin these out and end up with just 6. I don't need a million Echinacea. They spread on their own and do pretty well. And then over there, let's take a trip over there. So in this tray, tucked behind the treadmill, are cold germinators. They don't like to be on heat mats like a lot of other species, which is why they have their own tray. And there's not too much coming up. Some Primula in that back flat and this front one. That's definitely just crabgrass growing in the front. It's an Acanthus tray. And then the one in the back, I don't actually know what it is. Meconopsis or something. It was a like free seed packet that came with the order. So we'll see what it does. But all in all, generating plants this way is a lot cheaper than buying them at a nursery. You know, a salvia in a quart-sized pot, or even a pint, honestly, could end up running you $8 to $10, sometimes more if you live like in a city or something. And in the end, I could end up having 50 of them for less than $10. Even with the electricity it costs to run these LED lights. So if you have the space and the time, it's definitely a worthwhile endeavor. And I encourage most people to try it. Especially easier species like Salvia, you can't go wrong. Echinacea, same thing, nice and easy. Black-eyed Susan's pretty easy. Even foxgloves, Digitalis species, they're pretty easy. And it's just so cost effective. And it's nice to feel like you're a part of the journey of your plants. You know, you got to see them from these tiny, tiny little babies, barely bigger than the moss that's starting to grow with them, all the way to full-size plants, flowering beautifully, feeding pollinators. So I think it's a very rewarding endeavor, even if it's not about saving money. Yeah, so as we go along, I'll try to make some update videos on these. You can see them in my glasses as they grow and as I pot them up, which honestly probably won't be that far in the future. And I'm hoping to do a bathroom remodel video in the near future. That one's probably going to have to be in parts because it's a lengthy process. And I can't really start it right now because my ankle is still in bad shape. But in the next week or so, I can probably start working on it. And it'll be a learning experience for all of us because I am not trained or experienced in working on bathrooms. I've done a little bit of tiling, just vinyl tiles, you know, easy stuff. So we'll see how it goes. And I'll keep you posted.